step where we need to put in the valves. And I've got to do it in 2 steps. First, I've got to compress the springs and get them in there. I've done one. Got the keep here, or whatever, I'm not exactly sure, don't remember exactly. That's got to go up in there. Then once I do that, put the valve in and put the pin through the valve. So we're going to go through the first step, and I'm not sure if this is the correct sequence to do it, to be honest with you. I don't know if I should have done this before I put the cam in or not, but I'm not going to go take the cam out at this point. So, let's get started here. I've got my spring compressor here, and then I'm using this little bit of, when you go to put the valves in, mistake. This pin goes down against the valve, but since I'm coming in at an angle here, I put the top of the valve spring up around the valve guide. I get the spring compressor in here. Release that a little bit. And then pop it into place. So I'll go through and do the rest of those. We're going to turn the crank to drop the lifter down, lift her down as low as I can get it. So what I'd probably do is I'll go ahead and do the ones that are low, and then come back and crank it and drop the other ones down. All right, I got the first 2 valves in, the intake and exhaust. I went ahead and did that to get my technique down. Anyway, we're going to do these 2 next. Number 2 cylinder. These are brand new valves. Kind of scared myself. I thought I lost the pins, but I did find all of them. The retainer pins. Okay. And the exhaust valve. I'm going to put a little bit of assembly lube on it. Put the pin out to the front. Pinhole, I should say. And I got to go through that retainer. Crank that down, kind of twist it to the side so I can see the pinhole. Grab a pin, my needle nose pliers, and we shove that in, try to get it about in the right position. Release the compressor, and the pin slid in there just perfect. So that's how you do that. So I'll go ahead and do the rest of them. And then I need to take a look and see if I want to go ahead and put the head on now or wait. Okay, all right. I am going to admit right now, I spent way too much time. I went back and looked on my original videos when I was taking it apart, and the rod bolts were held in using cotter pins, and the main bearings were tied using wire. And for some reason, whatever, I, in my infinite wisdom, decided to throw away all the cotter pins. And so I just spent the last hour researching and trying to figure out what size cotter pin to use. And after several attempts, finally figured out that I was going to use 5/64. Now what threw me a little bit, well, for a 5/16 inch bolt, the internet says use 2/32. Well, that was too big. And then I found a reference to 5/64. Finally, what I did is I went in and got my drill bits, and the 5/64 was the one that fit the best. I had some smaller ones, wasn't comfortable using those, wanted something a little bit more or heavier. So this is what I ended up going with, and I really couldn't, in the parts manual, all I could find was a reference to IF212, and I really couldn't cross-reference that. Maybe somebody else could. Couldn't cross-reference that to anything else, so this is what we're going to do. I think there'll be plenty. So, I'll finish up this one here for you guys, and then I'll do the last two. And finish them up off camera. And of course my camera that I have mounted on my head, battery went dead. I bought that a couple of years ago and then didn't really use it, and now the battery is crap. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that, but hey. finally making some progress, so. I can't complain too much, right? All right, there we go. So I'll finish the other two and then we'll move on to the main bolts. I have all the cotter pins in the rod bolts. And then I went ahead and put a wire across the middle main bearing. Now I'll do the front and the back. And let's see if this one's long enough. All right. I'll do the last one, or do the last one offline, and then we're start working on putting the front and rear seal part. Well, the half a seal that goes on here, and then just the part that the oil pan gasket goes on. I have the oil pump apart here. I took it apart, Not the best filter. I probably could have cleaned that and reused it, but I've already got a replacement. This was the first gasket, kind of weak. I've got a replacement for that. And then this is what's left of the lead gasket. I've got a replacement gasket. It's not lead, so hopefully that works. I checked the gears and they seem to be within tolerance. And there's some brass sleeves in here that seem to be okay too. So I am just gonna put her back together here. I do not want to put any sealer or anything on these because, especially for this one, that gasket is part of the shim for the gears. That goes back on like that. These two screws go in first. Bolts, whatever. Use this to line up the gasket and everything. And then, where'd it go? Of course, it's over there. I need to clean this off. I will be right back. Okay, I got my razor blade. Okay. Let's do the final. Clean up like that. All right. So now this little guy goes in here like that. That goes in here like that.
Goes on there. Plug them down here. Before I do that, just notice something. Oh, well, I guess it doesn't matter. I noticed this had a hole here that this cover has, but there's nothing underneath that. Well, you know what I'm going to do while I'm at this. I'm going to squeeze some assembly lube in there, try to help it to prime. Okay. Just to help this prime on startup. Don't know if this is necessary or not, but just gonna squeeze a little bit of assembly glue in there, or lube. Do this again. Ooh. So it's pumping. Okay. Next. This little guy, the little thing right there, goes over that tube that comes out there. And we take our pliers. And just twist her like that. Now, we have, I wouldn't necessarily call this a rebuilt oil pump. I'd say refreshed. That's what I'm going to go with anyway. Since I didn't replace the bearings or any gears. Now let's go drop it in. Okay, here we go. Drop that there. Okay. Put our lock washer and our nut on there. Nine sixteenths. Okay. We're pretty much ready to button it up. I've got to put these gaskets here and these here, and then I've got to find the bolts for those, and I think they require some cleaning. But oh. There we go. So they'll go on like that. Cup gasket. Just got to find the bolts and get the nuts, bolts, and get those cleaned up. Finally making some progress. It's time to put the oil pan and the oil pan gasket on. If you notice, I had to remove the holder for the neoprene seal. I got a little ahead of myself. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to squirt a little bit of form a gasket. along the edges here. Don't need too much, you just need a small film. Along here. And the end with the tongue slides in back here where the rear seal goes. And it slides like that. Do the other side now. That stuff stinks. Okay. Get these all in the general vicinity. And then we'll do a bead on top. I tried to straighten this pan out as much as I can, but it's not perfectly flat, so hopefully between the gasket and this it'll might have to go find some other gasket material for the other side, or gasket sealer for the other side. I probably have some around here somewhere. Okay. Goes back down there. Pop this back down in here. There we go. Oh, it's in there. Jeez. Tell you people, don't get old. It sucks. Get in there. Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna inspect those rubber. I see that one keeps popping out on me. There we go. Okay, those look good. Now, the instructions say to add a little bit of oil to the top of that seal so it doesn't get moved out of the way. We got our break-in oil here. I'm using Royal Purple break-in oil. Okay. That down there, there. My recollection and the pictures in the manual say that goes to the back. By that I mean the oil sump, or the oil plug drain. Okay. So I went out, got some new bolts. Use a lock washer. I use my little guy here to hopefully help line up the gasket and everything. There's 12 bolts on this pan. Okay, according to the manual, these are supposed to be tightened down to about between 15 and 20 pounds. So here we go. So I tighten it up kind of snug, and I'll go crosswise. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. Well, that's not good. Okay. I was looking at the old bolts. I had one that was longer. I thought that was just an anomaly. But apparently it's not. I can't find a longer one, so we're just going to put back the original. I don't know if it got stripped out and what they did, but now I know why there was a longer one there. There. All right, so that's done. I'm gonna tighten that up. Don't want to get it over tight. All right, time to flip this baby over and start working on the top end. Here we go. So the plan is here is I try to adjust the tappets, and then we're put the head gasket back on. The head on, I mean. I do believe that goes in there somewhat, somehow. This only does not go in, it goes in there. I think it goes in after I put the head on. So, my next step is to go research or reread the valve adjustment guide instructions in the manual and do that. Then I finally get to put this expensive gasket on. That's not I wonder which side goes up. Okay. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me better. I'll put some earbuds in.
don't make the mistake I did. So I had this head gasket, laid it on here, and it's kind of over the cylinder here. Thought, oh, I got the wrong one, maybe I got one for a Y69. So I ordered a new one, same thing. Then it dawned on me, these pistons are 60 over. So I spent a ton of money on this. Hopefully I can put it on eBay or something and get my money back out of it, because these are not cheap. I'm gonna go ahead and use the original one I got. And we are going to put the head back on. There's no top or bottom on this one that I can see. But I believe that's the top. So, let me go get the head and replace it on here. Put this down in here and then I'll double check and see. Got it in right. Earbud doesn't like to stay in. That appears to be correct. Let's get it lined up a little bit here. There are 14, well, they were originally studs. I am going to, instead of studs, I'm going to go ahead and use head bolts. Okay, these are 3/8" head bolts, and according to the manual, 3/8". The torque specs for that is 35 to 40. And there's a torque sequence. The first one is the, okay. So what we're doing is we're snug all these down. So you do that one, and you do that one. Last but not least, this one here. And I go back and repeat that and torque it. Okay. There we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, I'm gonna go do it one more time just to double check. 15. Okay, I am happy with that. So, I think I'm gonna end this video here. Next, I'll go through and adjust the valves, put that back on, and then start putting some of the other stuff on here. Let's just real quick. Yep, still got some turnage. Oh, there's the old.
Jesus, I don't know if they had a different head gasket. That's definitely bigger. Now let's turn it completely over and see if I feel it hit anything. Guess I just won't know if it feels it or not. Because I don't feel anything. Guess we'll see what happens. Okay, till next time. Or see what happens here.